Hi, I'm Damien from Slotcar here with a Slotcar review. The car we're going to look at today is an NSR Porsche 917. NSR make especially high performance slot cars, and this one is exactly that. It has a performance chassis with an adjustable motor pod. It's got a powerful motor, it's got grippy tyres, low grip front tyres. It's got all the things that you need to get a really fast car. So we're going to have a look at it on track and we're going to see exactly what it's like. Now, the car itself and the livery is one, this is actually an NSR factory second. They occasionally offer these up to us which have a small paint defect or some other blemish at a reduced price. Quite often the blemishes are hard to see. This one it's a little more obvious, but I'm actually, the reason why I chose this car and I'm going to use this car is actually because I just want the chassis and I'm going to be putting it into another car that doesn't perform very well. So to me the body isn't so important, but let's have a good close look at it anyway.
So here's the car up close. Now, like all NSR cars, this is a car made for performance. It's made to go fast, and there are no compromises when it comes to NSR and performance. So it has aluminium front and rear wheels. It's got powerful motor, adjustable chassis, all those sorts of things. Now, NSR, I think, do a fantastic job of their bodies and the detail. Now, when you look closely, the detail isn't fine like you'd get on a lot of other brands. However, they do a very good job of making the overall impression that there is a lot of detail when it's actually got a lightweight body and it is made for performance. And I think they do that exceedingly well. So, the colours, beautiful, the paint finish, crisp. The little blemish I mentioned that these cars have often a paint blemish is actually right on the number one there. There's a white paint spot in that white circle. So this is kind of obvious, which is why I chose this particular one. But the rest of the livery is perfect. There's little cutouts in the body for these vents and the knacker ducts, the fan in the top there. All of these give the impression that the car has quite a lot of detail, yet at the end of the day it's a lightweight body and it's designed to go fast. And they do have nice detail, engine and exhaust detail at the back of the car, as you can see there. But the important thing is what it goes like on track. So let's grab a controller and see what we can do.
The car's straight out of the box, I haven't touched it. All I've done is I splayed the braids just a little bit apart because on my Carrera track the rails are a little bit wider than they would be on, say, Skeletric track or some others. Apart from that, straight out of the box. So it's pretty quick, still got its magnet in, and that'll help it of course. It does touch the track a little bit, I can hear it just scraping. Now with Carrera track the rails are a little bit higher than they are in some others, and I haven't actually set the front axle height adjustment screws, haven't put those screws in yet. So that'll probably be why it's touching at the front, so let's put those screws in and we'll try it again.
So just taking the body off, there's 3 screws to remove to take the body off. And the car comes with these 4 grub screws. Now all the NSR Porsches are the same. In fact, most NSR cars are the same. They come with the 4 screws to put in to adjust the front axle height. 2 of them go on the top of the axle and 2 of them go on the bottom of the axle. So we'll just quickly put those in there, and then we'll put the car on a setup block and we'll try and get the axle sitting in the right place. So here's the chassis in the setup block. Using the block we can set the height to exactly how we want it, make sure it's level on both sides, and make sure everything's sitting the way that we want it.
This is one of just many NSR classics and many NSR Porsche 917s in the range. So currently there's quite a lot to choose from. These are 917s here, back here, another 917, the Ford P68 and the Ford GT40 Mark IV and the other GT40s. These are all in the same NSR Classic range, so there's lots of different cars that you compare one of these up against, and they all tend to run very, very closely. They have the same gear ratio, same tyres, and they have the same motors. Okay, now that the front of the car is not going to be scraping along the track, let's see what we can do. 5.9 seconds. 593. 585. 572. 5.72 seconds. And so it's a pretty quick car. The NSR 20k motor that these have is a powerful little motor, but it's actually quite a good motor to drive, and it's not too wild, so it's still okay for a use on a home track or a track that's not quite as big as this, for instance. What I like about this car is it's very similar to the other NSR classics, so it means you can race this with the GT40, the GT40 Mark IV, the P68. They'll all race very nicely together. But the true test is when we take the magnet out and see what it's like without the magnet. So let's whip that out and see how our times compare to the 5.72 that we've done just now. The magnet in these is just a little button magnet, so it's really easy just to poke it out by pushing in the back of the car. There it is. Gone. While we've got it open, let's just have a quick look at the chassis. The adjustable pod is held in by 3 screws, one at the front and one either side, so we can loosen these screws to allow some movement in the pod. And with my other NSR classics, I find that running them not loose, but just a little bit of movement tends to work quite well for me. But that's something we'll play with once it's on track. But let's just put the body back on without doing anything else and see what we've got. Okay, here's the test. See how it goes. Now remember, the tyres haven't been trued, we've done nothing. Just take the magnet out. And it's pretty easy to drive. One thing about NSR cars is usually, with the tyres even untrued, they still drive okay once you take the magnets out. I mean, I will true the tyres and they'll be far better, but it's surprising how good they are just out of the box. So 7.14 seconds. With my other NSR classics, I can get them down about a second down on that once the tyres are trued and everything's set up right. But for an out-of-the-box car, pretty good without the magnet. We'll give those tyres a sand though, and then we'll see how it goes. Now the car's had a little bit of running, done about 50 laps, maybe a few more. The car's really smooth and easy to drive, but it hardly ever de-slots. I mean, like I say, I've done about 50, 60 laps, and I've come out once or twice, and there's times that I've been really over-driving it. The thing is, you can over-drive it, and usually you get away with it. Now the other thing is the car's fast, so my other NSR classics that have had a bit of time spent on them and have been run a lot, on this track the best ever time with one is 6.18 seconds, but getting in the 6.2s, racing in the 6.2s is still pretty hard to do, and that's going pretty quick in one of these. But this car, so far, I've managed a 6.33 second lap, which is fast, and quite a few others in the 6.3, so it's going really well without having had much time spent on it. I'd say it's on par with all the NSR classics, the others. It drives very similarly to the GT40 and the GT40 Mark IV. The P68 is a little bit different to drive. It's probably the only one of the classics I find a little bit different, but still a very good car. And it's important to remember this is just stock out of the box. All we've done is true the tyres. Having said that, should you choose to, you can fit a whole host of optional upgrade parts to these cars. So NSR produce tyres in different compounds. They produce gears in all sorts of different ratios, different speed motors, and they also produce suspension kits, hard, medium and soft kits for these potted chassis. So should you choose to, there's a whole lot of things you can do to personalise your car and set it up exactly for your racetrack or your own driving style. I must say, I like it very much. It's a good car. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.